Joined in studio with candidate for Congress Dan Powers in Minnesota's 2nd District, which is the southern suburbs, and down to Faribault?
Yeah, down to Faribault, and then stretching from the Mississippi River on the east all the way to the Minnesota River on the other side, and then we get Carver County and the southern part of Washington County. So
Excellent.
It's a big chunk.
It is a big chunk.
That's a lot of driving.
Actually, that's the part I enjoy. I love I love the area. I've lived in this area for a very long time.
27 years is 28? 20?
Technically, that's since I graduated high school. My father has lived in the South Metro since mid-'60s. And
Wow.
I've come up and visited him. There hasn't been a year that's gone by where I haven't spent at least 4 months here in Minnesota. And then I graduated high school in Colorado and moved up here, and I've been here ever since.
And you're a small businessman.
Correct.
So you understand the problems that healthcare is causing, even if Congressman Kline doesn't.
Oh, that's one of the reasons that most of these small businesses around are not hiring. It doesn't have anything to do with taxes. When you have a healthcare cost increase of more than 20% every year, you're not going to hire people to fill a spot that you need because that cost is just too high.
Well, I'm going through right now. I'm just looking at your bio on your website. If you'd like to know more about Dan, the website is Dan Powers, Powers, danpowers.org. It looks like you've got quite a lot of political experience here, too, like 10, 12 years worth of stuff. You're on the, it looks like I'm seeing the Burnsville Board of Appeals here, and actually you were going to run for Congress in 2008 as well?
I was. I got started a little bit late. I realized it at that time, and there was a lot of things that I was able to do in the last 2 years, actually, to get prepped to be running at the right time.
Yeah.
Well, it takes a long time to run.
There's a lot of things that need to get done.
Well, you've been campaigning now for going on, 10 months now? And
Yeah, I spent a lot of time last year reaching out to the people that are party activists, the people that are really out there doing the work and doing the contact. Did a lot of parades last summer. Love the parades. The parades are great. And then just going around to different meetings and introducing myself, finding out what their problems are. You know, that's what a big part of my campaign is actually listening to the people in the district to make sure I understand what they're facing.
which is a vast improvement over John Kline.
Well, that's a clear contrast.
Yeah.
Because Kline just flat out doesn't listen.
Yeah. So, and I'm just, again, I'm going back to the bio here. What's this about you breaking your back?
Oh, that was a
This
tough
has
one.
to be a sore subject.
Well, not sore anymore, but it was. About 6 years ago, I took a tumble off of a ladder when I was working. We were clearing ice and snow off of a roof, and the ladder was too slippery.
And you were a contractor?
I was a subcontractor for another company at that time. So I owned my own business at that time.
Yeah.
And then we would do contract work for other people. And the ladder got too slippery. I took a tumble about 30 feet, broke my back.
Wow.
Spent 6 months not doing much except recovering. And then I was fully released after about a year. So it was that year was a tough year for me. I wasn't making near as much money as I was. And honestly, that first 24 hours, I didn't know if I was going to walk again. So it takes a lot of, you have to know that you really want to do something again. And that's actually what made me reevaluate my whole life and maybe decide that I wasn't giving back enough to the community. And that's one of the reasons I'm running for Congress.
So fall into politics.
Exactly.
Well, and I'm just looking. You're not what I would describe as a candidate. You're not a professional politician. I mean, that's what I kind of find refreshing about this race. Is I know you're running against a former legislator, but you're not a politician, and you seem to have a much better grasp on the issues than I would expect from somebody who's not a politician.
Honestly, that's because I listen. I do. I don't just say those words. That's what I practice. I go around and I listen to people. And when we're looking for solutions, I'm not the person that's going to dictate to you what we can do. I'm going to try and work together with you to find a solution that works for everybody. You know, there are certain people that are going to disagree with me from day one. But the vast majority of the people in the district, I think, are going to be refreshingly amazed at how much I will get done for them.
Well, that actually, Dan, sounds a lot like Al Franken, who spent the first part of his campaign holding listening sessions. I mean, I know I was at him. I'm a veteran, and Al Franken was holding listening sessions all across the state.
Good politicians will.
Are you going to be having some coming up here?
We're going to have a lot of listening sessions. Actually, for the next month, I'm going to be meeting with all the delegates that do the endorsing for the DFL. But after that, we're going to be having listening sessions throughout the entire district. as long as I'm in Congress. I'm going to have a listening session as often as I can when I come back to district. And I'm not going to D.C. to live in D.C. I'm going to be living here, and I'm going to be going to D.C. to work. Because that's what a Minnesotan should do.
And again, another sharp contrast to John Kline, who we basically have to force to have town halls here.
Yeah. You know, I'm a veteran. I have a small disability. I am a disabled American vet, and I belong to the DAV. And John Kline just had an atrocious record of supporting disabled American veterans. Well, veterans across the board, until Clean Rowley pointed that out with her bookmarks a couple of years ago. And John Kline just doesn't care.
And that's a shame, because someone in his position, he has the potential to do so much more for the district and for people in general. And instead, he's following a strict party line. The original representative, no, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, again, that gets back to Newt Gingrich's contract on America, where they took the power out of the committee chairs and centered it in party leadership. Because for John Kline's first, well, he still is. He does what he's told to. I mean, that's what he does.
He's following orders.
Following orders.
And that's a shame, because that's not representing the district at all.
No, and that's what we elect people to do. Is like I said during the first segment, it's with the Republicans, the people elect and the Republicans direct. And that's not the way the Democrats do it. Is Democrats are kind of across the board, which kind of gets kind of frustrating at times.
Actually, Democrats argue amongst themselves better than almost any other group. And that's okay, because we do have a lot of different viewpoints, and we come from different experience points. And that's what makes it better, is because we come from all these different areas, and we come together and make a solution that works. And that's why the Democrats have a better argument for most of these problems that are facing us.
See, this is why I think you're going to be a good candidate, because you're able to actually sit there and listen to both. Both sides, 6 sides, whatever it is, you're able to listen to the different viewpoints and make a well-informed decision. I really like your candidacy for that. I mean, I guess bringing it back, Tommy, you just mentioned Colleen Rowley. Dan, you're actually endorsed by Colleen Rowley?
I am, actually, yes. She and I, we talk frequently. She's a very strong peace advocate. I know she was on the show recently.
Yeah.
And I respect everything that Colleen really works for. And it was humbling that she actually she endorsed me. To me, that was an amazing thing.
She has a spine.
Yeah, you could definitely say that.
Former FBI agent that took on the mob in New York City.
Yep.
That's a tough woman.
Oh, yeah. Ran for Congress. I mean, she was Times Woman of the Year in, was it 2003? 2003?
2003.
Yeah. I mean, any other endorsements?
Will Morgan, a state legislator, and then we do have the Stonewall Democrats have endorsed me.
Outstanding.
I think
it's important.
I think they're the only... I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think they're the only, DFL charter group that's endorsed in the CD2 race, right?
Yeah, most everyone else is holding back, but Stonewall definitely, I had an excellent interview with them. Honestly, it felt like I was in a room full of friends, because the issues that I care about are the ones that they really care about. And equality is a big one. I didn't have to study a thing. It was honest. It was really a neat time.
Well, then you were in a room with friends.
It was. That's exactly what it was. Yeah.
Well, I guess going into the conventions, obviously there's one more. Which convention is this weekend?
SD34, Carver County.
Okay. So obviously there's one more convention left. I have to confess, I live in CD4. I went to a couple CD4 conventions, got through as an alternate the other day, but I've spent a lot of time kind of bouncing around the different conventions, and I spent some time in CD2. I got to hear you speak, and you blew my mind, and that's part of the reason we had to make sure we got you in, because it was an amazing speech, inspiring. I mean, it was one of those things that I think will energize the district a lot. But the thing that struck me is in the conventions I was in, the number of people walking around with your stickers. And when I was talking to people, the number of people that said, absolutely, I'm supporting him. He's been running for the longest. He has the momentum. He has a staff that's actually, contacting us and being able to do the work that we need to do to get elected. How are the delegates starting to break? It seemed like you had correct me if I'm wrong, but an overwhelming amount of support in the district.
Without giving any numbers, we're doing very, very well.
Good.
As we're talking to what we tell our delegates is, you've got governor candidates that you support. We want you to support those. But in the end run, when it comes down to the congressional district for the endorsement, be my delegate.